word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai.
Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me.
Nineveh, capital of the Assyrian Empire, was to the west of Israel, so Jonah went down to Joppa, where he found a ship bound for Tarshish, which was as far east as he could go without running out of known world. After paying the fare, he went aboard and attempted to flee from the Lord. Then the Lord sent a great wind on the sea, and such a violent storm arose that the ship threatened to break up. All the sailors were afraid, and each cried out to his own God, and they threw their cargo into the sea to lighten the ship. But Jonah had gone below deck, where he lay down and fell into a deep sleep. The captain went to him and said,
Jonah! 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 How can you sleep? We're all going to die in this storm. Get up and call on your God. Maybe he will save us.
Back on deck, the sailors said to each other,
Let us draw straws to find out who is responsible for this calamity.
For they knew the storm was not natural. Jonah drew the short straw, so they asked him,
What work do you do? Where do you come from? What is your country?
I am a Hebrew and I worship the Lord, the God of heaven who made the sea and the land.
This terrified them, and they said,
You fled from the Lord of the sea on a boat? What were you thinking? We're all gonna die!
They knew he was running away from the Lord because he had already told them so. The sea was getting rougher and rougher, so they asked him,
What should we do to make the sea calm down for us?
Pick me up and throw me into the sea and it will all become calm. It is my fault that this great storm has come upon me.
Instead, the crew did their best to row back to land, but they could not. The sea grew even wilder than before. Then they cried out to the Lord.
Please, Lord, don't let us die for taking this man's life. Don't hold us accountable for killing an innocent man. For you, Lord, have done as you pleased.
Then they took Jonah and threw him overboard. And the raging sea grew calm. At this the crew greatly feared the Lord, and they offered a sacrifice to the Lord and promised to serve him. Now the Lord provided a huge fish to swallow Jonah. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights, considering his poor life choices. When he had had time to think, Jonah prayed to the Lord his God. He said,
In my distress I called to the Lord and he answered me. From deep in the realm of the dead I called for help, and you listened to my cry. You hurled me into the depths, into the very heart of the seas, and the currents swirled about me. All your waves and breakers swept over me. I said, I have been banished from your sight, yet I will look again towards your holy temple. The engulfing waters threatened me, and deep surrounded me. Seaweed was wrapped around my head. The roots of the mountains I sank down. The earth beneath barred me forever. But you, Lord my God, brought my life up from the pit. When my life was ebbing away, I remembered you, Lord, and my prayer rose to you, to your holy temple. Those who cling to worthless idols turn away from God's love for them, but I, with shouts of grateful praise, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will make good. I will say, salvation comes from the Lord.
And the Lord commanded the fish, and it vomited Jonah onto dry land. Then the word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time.
Go to Nineveh and proclaim to it the message I gave you.
So Jonah went to Nineveh. Now Nineveh was a very large city. It took 3 days to go through it. Jonah began by going a day's journey into the city, proclaiming,
40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown. 40 days until you all die. The Lord has seen your great wickedness and you will be held accountable for it. There will be fire and brimstone, wailing
The Ninevites
and gnashing
believed
of
God.
teeth.
A fast was proclaimed, and all of them, from the greatest to the least, put on sackcloth.
40 days.
When Jonah's warning reached the king of Nineveh, he rose from his throne, took off his royal robes, covered himself with sackcloth, and sat down in the dust. This is the proclamation the king issued in Nineveh.
Hear ye,
by the decree of the king and his nobles. Do not let people or animals or herds or flocks taste anything. Do not let them eat or drink, but let people and animals be covered with sackcloth. Let everyone call urgently on God. Let them give up their evil ways and their violence. Who knows, God may yet relent and with compassion turn from his fierce anger so that we will not perish. When God saw what they did and how they turned from their evil ways, he relented and did not bring on them the destruction he had threatened. Jonah responded in a mature and responsible fashion.
Isn't this what I said, Lord, when I was still at home? This is why I fled to Tarshish. I knew that you are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger, abounding in love, a God who relents from sending calamity. Oh, just kill me. It's better for me to die than to live.
Is it right for you to be angry?
Jonah had gone out and sat in the desert east of the city. There he made himself a hole, sat in it, and waited to see what would happen to the city. Then the Lord God provided a leafy plant and made it grow up over Jonah to give shade for his head to ease his discomfort. And Jonah was very happy about the plant. But at dawn the next day, God provided a worm which chewed the plant so it withered. When the sun rose, God provided a scorching east wind, and the sun blazed on Jonah's head, so that he grew faint. He wanted to die and said,
It would be better for me to die than to live.
Is it right for you to be angry about the plant?
Yes, I'm so angry. I wish I were dead.
You cared for the plant, though you did not tend it or make it grow. It sprang up overnight and died overnight. Should I not care for the city of Nineveh, where there are more than 120,000 people who are lost in darkness, and also many animals?